I'm Maria Mazziotti Gillan, and I'm going to be reading from All That Lies Between Us, my book that was published by Guernica Editions in 2007. Nighties. At my bridal shower, someone gave me a pink see-through nightgown and pink satin slippers with slender heels and feathers. The gown had feathers on it, too. I've always hated my legs, and even then, when I was still thin and in good shape, I didn't want to wear that nightgown or slippers, didn't want to parade in front of you like some pin-up. But I wore them anyway, all those negligés I got as shower presents, sleazy nylon I didn't know was tacky. When I wore shorty nightgowns, I'd leap into bed, not wanting you to notice how the nightgown revealed what I thought my biggest flaw. In all the young years of our marriage, I wore a different nightgown every night. Not that it ever stayed on for long. And afterwards, I'd pull it back on, not wanting our children to find me naked in our bed. I felt so sophisticated in those nightgowns, like the ones Doris Day wore in movies. Only years later, when my daughter buys me a nightgown made of soft and smooth blue silk, do I realize that the first ones I owned were cheap imitations of this, the one I hold now to my cheek, grateful to have been once what I was. How lucky I am to have loved you in nylon, in silk, my own incredible skin. And I'm going to read a poem from Things My Mother Told Me. Daddy, we called you. Daddy, we called you Daddy when we talked to each other in the street, pulling on our American faces, shaping our lives in Patterson slang. Inside our house, we spoke a Southern Italian dialect mixed with English, and we called you Papa. But outside again, you became Daddy, and we spoke of you to our friends as my father. Imagining we were speaking of that father knows best TV character in his dark business suit, carrying his briefcase into his house, retreating to his paneled den, his big living room and dining room, his frilly aproned wife who greeted him at the door with a kiss. Such space and silence in that house. We lived in one big room, living room, dining room, kitchen, bedroom, all in one, dominated by the gray oak dining table around which we sat, talking and laughing, listening to your stories, your political arguments with your friends. Papa, how you glowed in company light, happy when the other immigrants came to you for help with their taxes or legal papers. It was only outside that glowing circle that I denied you, denied your long hours as night watchman at Royal Machine Shop. One night, riding home from a date, my middle-class American boyfriend kissed me at the light. I looked up and met your eyes as you stood at the corner near Royal Machine. It was nearly midnight, January, cold and windy. You were waiting for the bus, the streetlight illuminating your face. I pretended I did not see you. Let my boyfriend pull away, leaving you on the empty corner waiting for the bus to take you home. You never mentioned it. Never said that you knew how often I lied about what you did for a living, or that I was ashamed to have my boyfriend see you, find out about your second shift work, your broken English. Today, remembering that moment, still illuminated in my mind by the street lamp's gray light, I think of my own son and the distance between us greater than miles. Papa, silk worker, janitor, night watchman, immigrant Italian, I honor the years you spent in menial work, slipping down the ladder as your body failed you while your mind so quick and sharp longed to escape. Honor the times you got out of bed after sleeping only an hour to take me to school or pick me up. The warm bakery rolls you bought for me on the way home from the night shift, the letters you wrote to the editors of local newspapers. Papa, silk worker, janitor, night watchman, immigrant Italian, better than any father knows, best father, bland as white rice. With your wine press in the cellar, with the newspapers you collected out of garbage piles to turn into money you bank for us, with your mousetraps, with your cracked and calloused hands, with your yellow teeth. Papa, dragging your dead leg through the factories of Patterson. I am outside the house now, shouting your name. And if you don't mind, I'd like to finish with a short poem from The Weather of Old Seasons that was published by Stanley Barkin. The eyes of women. The eyes of women over 40 are smudged with shadows. Even the blonde woman, slender and tall, bears the deep thumbprint of sorrow. I noticed suddenly in men over 40 an absence of shadow. Men seem younger, less frayed at the edges. Sisters, our smudged eyes are the chain that links us as we bend to fit our men. Learn early to smile and please, to smooth surfaces with our calm hands.